I wanna hear your voice. You should say all of the things you wanna say. You can be her right here today. I wanna hear your voice. Be free and tell your story.
Goddess, you made it. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to Goddesshood. We're not just a show, we're a collective. We believe that the healing of one contributes to the healing of all. On our show, you will hear stories and tips that will inspire you to live, love, laugh, and exist on freaking purpose. Let's live. I'm Thea, a podcast mentor dedicated to empowering women. At Goddesshood, we focus on helping women find and use their authentic voices through podcasting, fostering a deep connection with themselves and with other women. It is my honor to introduce Blanca Rodriguez, the owner and CEO of Wounded Healer LLC. She has been a licensed massage therapist for 18 years, certified canine massage therapist for 8 years, fitness instructor for 45 plus individuals, and Zumba and dance teaching for 30 plus years. Amazon best-selling book, co-author, holistic life coach, motivational, inspirational speaker, educator, and volunteer. Blanca is a member and mentor at the American Massage Therapy Association, member, mentor, and vice president of education at Talking Heads of Stewart Toastmasters, member of Treasure Coast Advanced Toastmasters, member and mentor for Puerto Rico Toastmasters Club. Welcome, Blanca.
Thank you for having me here, Thea. What a joy it is to be here with you.
Oh, absolutely. I'm so glad you're here. Let's get to know you, Blanca. So we're going to ask you rapid fire fun questions for the audience to get to know you. If you're listening and you want a chance to win a gift that helps you unlock more playfulness in your life, complete our questionnaire that's in our show notes to be entered into a drawing for something fun. So, answer with your first mind. I always tell people don't overthink it. Like, it's okay.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
All right, so here we go. Dun, dun, dun. If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
I would give everybody the gift of compassion.
Ooh, okay. All right.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Superpower of compassion. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When you were a kid, what was something you were passionate about?
Dogs.
Dogs. Okay. Why dogs? I'm curious.
My mother has always been a dog lover,
Mhm.
and we had not only dogs, we had dogs, cats, birds, fishes, turtles, but dogs was with these beautiful animals. I had such a bond with every single dog that I could put my hands on since I was a little girl.
Mhm.
And I felt like dogs have been always my best companion since I was a little girl. And as I grew up to be an adult in many dark seasons of my life, definitely dogs have been the best emotional help companion that I ever had. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. Okay, I love that. And what is one childish thing you still do to this day?
Curiosity, being nosy.
Okay, I like that. Yeah.
Yes.
That's
I was
interesting.
nosy as a girl. I'm still nosy as an adult. So yes, that has never changed. That's for sure.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you ready to get into it today?
Absolutely. Bring it.
Hey, so this is a juicy one. Okay, so I actually have a tattoo on my arm and it says be a voice, not an echo. And it's kind of a reminder of when to, personally speak up and the cost of not advocating and speaking up for yourself. So today's question is silence or freedom?
Freedom.
Yes. That's why Blanca is here. So,
Absolutely.
when we prepared this episode, you and I talked a lot about like our own experiences of not speaking up and how that like cost us in some ways and learning how to navigate that. Can you share, kind of some of your story of how you didn't advocate for yourself at some points and what that cost was like for you?
Yes, absolutely. When I was a little girl, I was 8 years old. I lost my father in a violent robbery gone terribly wrong. And we lost him. And ever since I was 8 years old, it was like taboo in my family to talk about the dead. It's like, shh, you don't talk about the dead. You don't talk about bad things. So as a child that was so confused, so lost in my grief, I didn't know how to grieve. I didn't know how to mourn because I didn't have the support of being able to digest and go through all of these stages of grief. I found myself in a world of silence, definitely. And then a year later, when I was 9 years old, I was sexually assaulted for the first time. And that was another very traumatic experience that I had. And of course, my response and my defense mechanism, because I didn't know any better, was silence, was shame. I thought that somehow I was at fault. A 9-year-old girl, that I had no clue of what this kind of situation was about. I had no idea what sex was about. So that was another traumatic situation that led me to very dark seasons in my life. A dark season of low self-esteem, low self-worth. I felt like my voice had no power, because since I was the youngest of 3 siblings, all I heard around me was, oh, she's the little one, and the kids don't understand, and the kids don't know. There was a lot of ignorance at that time. This was many years ago, of course, in the 70s. But to this day, there's many people, many households that believe that because the kid is a kid, the kid has no saying, no voice, and no right to be included in important conversations like loss of someone, these changes that we all go through. And that took me to a very deep rabbit hole of confusion, isolation, low self-worth, low self-esteem, self-destructive patterns, because I was dealing with traumatic childhood that went totally untreated. I didn't have anybody to go to. And then besides that, my mother, God bless her, she had chronic untreated mental illness for all of her life. And I'm going back to that era that it was the 70s, it was the 80s, and mental illnesses were taboo. Mental illnesses was something that you don't talk about that. And everything, there was this redundancy of, you don't talk about the dead. You don't talk about mental illnesses. You have to throw everything under the carpet. Keep on throwing it under the rug, throw it under the rug. And that created a world of confusion. Definitely. I was very confused with where my life was going. I was trying to find out there in the world something that I could only find within me. But I didn't have any idea that this could be possible, because I thought it was normal to live with isolation. I thought it was normal to be confused. I thought it was normal to have, unfortunately, a mother that was chronically ill. And my mom, when she was in her good days, it was wonderful. But when mom was in a crisis, it was a nightmare. And my mother was a hoarder. So I thought that all of these situations were normal when they were not. They were not, yeah. Definitely. And this led me to many actions that caused a lot of self-destruction. I went into a season of doing heavy drugs and heavy alcohol. And I went to a season of being with people that they were just not the right people for me. Mm-hmm. I had a partner, and he was the father of my kids, rest in peace. He was a drug addict all the way to the day he died. And I was involved in a situation with him where there was, it was domestic abuse left and right. It was physical, it was mental, it was emotional, and we were addicted to each other, definitely. Mm-hmm. And we were mirroring each other, because I didn't know this until he was about to pass, that he was assaulted sexually as a kid. When he told me this, it's like, oh my God, we were mirroring each other for so long. But I took matters in my hands because I had kids and I really wanted something better for them. Yeah. And that meant not walking away, but running away from this violent relationship that we had. And I said to myself, my kids don't need to be around this environment because I don't want them to grow knowing and thinking that violence is fine and it's right, that disrespecting each other to the level that we did was the correct thing to do, that was never the case. And when my father was alive, the world was a total different ball game because there was balance, there was consistency, there was a happy family. And then when my father died, everything turned into darkness. And it didn't stop there because my mother's mental illness she just went downhill and downhill, and she never recovered from it. But it dragged us into something that it was very confusing. And of course, there was a lot of violence because my mother was the typical Puerto Rican mother that if you disrespect me, I'll bring the belt and I'll beat the crap out of you. And that, of course, with me happened quite a bit because I was nosy. I questioned everything and I wouldn't keep my mouth shut. So, and in those times when I was so confused, I manifested it with rebelliousness, being a rebel, being the nosy one, being the nasty one. And when I had my kids and I understood that it was time for a change, I'm very grateful I did, because otherwise I wouldn't be here talking to you right now. And we really can change our mindset. And when we change our mindset, our life will change. And when we put the heavy work into investing in our healing, really new things happen. Good results will follow. We start shining with a new light. We start understanding that maybe all of these experiences were a lesson to help others improve their quality of life, like we are doing right now, helping others with our voices. Because all of that silence that I went through, I put it all down in a form of a chapter in a book. And I said, it's time for me to speak up. And I'm going to do it in a big way. I want everybody to know what I've been through and that change is possible, that healing is possible, because I was a very broken soul, but the healing is real, is possible. Put the work into it. You will feel better. Speak up. Don't stay quiet. Speak up. There will always be someone to help. There will always be someone to support you. There will always be someone to be there for you through it all. I promise you that.
Yeah. So, okay, you said a lot of really good things. So I know you mentioned like you had your children. Was that kind of like the biggest eye opener for you for like the things that you were dealing with as a child, that you were like, oh, this seems normal, but I'm perpetuating it and it's not normal? So were your kids like the first kind of like aha moment, or did you have like some breaking points before you had children that were like, I need to change, you know?
Definitely having my kids were my aha moment. Yeah. Definitely. Before them, I was in having a very turbulent lifestyle. I was just surviving and being functional. I was very functional in my job. I was very functional as a group fitness teacher. I was very functional in many things except my very deep down rooted issues that I was just I was ignoring them and in the huge denial until I had my son 26 years ago. And it was time for a change. I mean, parenthood changes everything. I remember myself before I was a parent, and I remember myself after I became a parent, and it's like, well, life really does change drastically. There is no book. There's nothing that can possibly prepare us to be parents. Parenthood is not for everybody. And I personally, it's like, well, I really didn't want to be a parent, but God gave me the miracle of parenthood. Yeah. And everything from there changed, and it changed in a wonderful way. I understood that it was time to stop my self-destruction, and it was time for me to start living a better life, not only for myself, but for my kids. And like I always say this, my kids, I didn't give birth to my kids. My kids gave me a chance for a better life. My kids brought me back to life, to be a better person, a better human, a better woman, a better mother. And we lead by example, definitely. And I was like, wow, how am I going to give a good example if I am doing all of these messed up things? So it's time for change, definitely. And it took me a while to keep on embracing these changes. I was still in a relationship plagued with domestic abuse, and I was at a doctor's office. I remember like it was yesterday when I saw right in front of me, and this was part of God's plan, definitely. I saw right in front of me a book called The Secret. And I said, damn, I have so many secrets that I could write a book about my secrets. This was 24 years ago when my son was 2 years old. And I took that book, I opened it up, and that started to lead me. That book started leading me into the right direction, into what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I went to group therapy. I went to counseling. I went to doctors. I did everything possible to start my healing journey, because my trauma was so deeply rooted and not taken care of that I said to myself, I cannot do this on my own anymore. Because I was one of these people that I didn't want to bother anybody because I am bothering them, and I don't want to ask for help because I don't want to bother anybody, and I don't want to bother anybody. And no, that was part of my low self-esteem and low self-worth. And in other words, I thought that I wasn't worth people's time. I wasn't worth to put their attention to me. I wasn't worth for people to support me on my journey. And once I found out through a lot of counseling that that is totally not true, then a whole new door really did open. And that was the beginning of this journey of healing that is going to be for the rest of my life, definitely. But this is 1% each day of getting better, feeling better. And when these triggers come in, to face them, not run away from them like I used to do. Because when we want to heal, we cannot run away from healing. We got to face ourselves, and that's when the real healing starts happening, in my experience. And if I am capable of going through these changes in life, here I am, I'm 58 years old, and I'm still going through very good changes in my life in this healing journey. I believe that everybody can, no matter what age we are. And never feel that it's late, because no, as long as we're alive, it's never late. It's never late for a new start. It's never late to hit that button that says, okay, it's time to step into your power and do something better for yourself. And once we do something better for ourselves, that it comes from the heart, that it comes from the gut, oh my goodness, does it reflect on everything else we do. It's a beautiful thing. Very blessed and thankful for that.
Absolutely. What is one thing that you would recommend for someone who maybe doesn't have kids, or who is struggling to maybe they have kids and they're struggling to have that moment of I need to change? What would you suggest for them where they're in that place of teetering,
Yes, absolutely. I recommend to anybody that is going through a difficult situation to, first of all, invest in your healing. The best investment that we do is the one on ourselves. And self-care is the best care. And please remember, the wounds are not our fault, because none of our wounds are our fault. We didn't push this to happen to us. But the healing, it really is our responsibility. Reach out no matter which issues you have. It doesn't matter if you're a parent, if you're not a parent, you're equally important to this world. The world is a happier place because we're all here. The world is a happier place because our listeners are here right now. And it's important for all of these individuals that feel like the walls are closing in. You got this. You're going to do better. I promise you. I have a daughter. She's 22 years old. She's got depression. She's got major depression. And she felt like the walls were closing in. And she had very dark thoughts. I reached out to her and she reached out to me. Thankfully, we have an open communication. Our relationship is very profound and it's a beautiful relationship. And she reached out to me and she told me, Mom, I've been feeling this way for a very long time, since I was in high school. And as a parent, I am not there to judge you. I am not here to point a finger at you. Why in the hell that you didn't tell me? It's like, no, I am not here for that. The people that support you, they're there for you no matter what, without judgment, without pointing a finger. Find people that are like that, because the ones that try to judge you is because they have issues of their own and they don't want to face those issues. I promise you this, it's the truth. Versus someone that is there for you no matter what. These are the individuals to be surrounded with, definitely. And you will find them in the most amazing and weird and odd places. Like if you like to go to church, you can find a group of people that they will be there for you. If you are into meditation, I am into meditation and prayer. I do them both on a daily basis. I exercise gratitude for the simplest things I have in life. And these things alone are such a great helper. Such great helpers to feel better, to do better. Because let's face it, it could be much worse and it can be so much better. I recommend to people that are not parents or they're trying to be parents, be patient, manifest it, be open to God's plan. Because this is what happens. We plan and God laughs a lot. Okay. And I have heard from a teacher of mine that he always has said, when you pray for something, just be aware and be open that God may say to you, not now, or I have something better planned for you. So surrender to whatever it is, the situation that you're going through. Work hard to make it better. But if everything in life is not going the way you exactly want it, it's because the power, God or the universe or whoever you believe in has something better for you planned. Surrender, open up to it, and please don't try to control everything, because we don't have control of everything in life. That is for sure.
Yeah, that is the biggest illusion there is.
Oh my God. Absolutely. That we can control everything. Nah, that's not real at all.
That's not.
Yeah.
So we're transitioning into our final segment, which is the Vibes Are Vibing. So this is the portion of the show where we leave you with an affirmational card and a song from our Goddesshood playlist. Think of this as your card and your song for the week. Today, I'm pulling from Wisdom Del Alma, 44 affirmation cards to activate your inner diosa. So, okay, Blanca, this is where you come in. I'm going to shuffle the cards like I'm doing right now. Okay. And then I'm going to break the cards in half, and I'm going to ask you to pick a hand. Some people get super fancy with it, and they're like, hey, can you pick the third card down and pile in the left and right? You can put one on the bottom. So I have the left and the right. Which hand do you want me to pick?
The right.
Okay. And Do you have any special card orders?
Not at all. Not
Okay.
at all.
So we'll just pick the one on the top then.
Absolutely.
So this one is, it says on the front, I activate the priestess within me and I tend to the temple of me. I adorn myself in beauty, magic, and grace. And on the back it says, I commit to practicing radical self-care and self-worship. I undo the lies that tell me that adoring myself is shallow. I claim self-devotion as holy as I anoint myself in ritual. My pleasure expands.
Love it.
And we talked about self-care today, so.
Oh my God, this is so powerful, Tia. I love it.
Yes, every time the card is like always on point. The cards never lie. So.
Oh, they really don't. This is phenomenal. Talking about self-care, and here we are talking about your inner diosa, talking about worshiping your beauty, your inner beauty, who you are as a human, who you will continue to be as an individual. This is beautiful. Thank you. I love it.
Yeah, it's juicy. And then this week's song is called Divine Assignment. I'm not going to butcher the artist's name, so I'm not going to say it, but I'll put it in the show notes. I hate when people get my name wrong, so I'm not going to do that today. But I picked this song because of the following lyrics. It says, I receive my divine assignment so I can walk in my alignment. This song just says to me that getting over our fear of speaking up will allow us to receive our divine assignments. And to clarify, speaking up doesn't mean a large platform like what we're on today, but this can even be in small settings, friend to friend, peer to peer, and you'd be surprised the things that people are still stifling. And when you share your own experience, how then it opens up things for other people that they feel like they can share now, you know? So do you have any final words for the audience, Blanca, before we wrap up?
Yes, absolutely. Don't give up. Keep on going. Keep on going. This is a phrase that I always heard from my mother. You got to keep on going. You got to keep on going. And I cannot agree with her more to this day, because when we're sad, we keep on going. When we're happy, we keep on going. When we're angry, we keep on going. When we're having beautiful moments, we keep on going, because trust me when I say this too shall pass, and we do keep on going. So please don't get lost in the sauce. It'll get better. I promise you that.
Absolutely. Thank you for tuning in. You've been listening to Goddesshood with Thea and Blanca. Don't forget to share, subscribe, and head to the show notes for some goodies. And remember to live, love, laugh, and exist on freaking purpose. Go live.
I wanna hear your voice. You should say all of the things you wanna say. You can be her right here today.